Welcome to Bruce Botanical Food Gardens. My name is April and I'm the garden manager here. We are a nonprofit organization here created in 2012 and we are the vision of Lynn Taylor. She wanted to bring this to life and she certainly did, and so this year marks our 10-year anniversary. And to mark our 10-year anniversary, we have decided to do a community food share where we offer seeds to the community in hopes that they'll plant, and anything extra they'll donate to someone facing food insecurity or our local food banks. So we offer our produce to the community by donation only. This can be volunteer hours, this can be money, this can be anything from our wish list. We just ask that you weigh your produce and record it in our book because we do track it for Food Bruce Gray. We are here during the summer months, usually hyped up with programs, workshops, and lots of different events going on. During the fall season, we are usually putting everything to bed, but we still have produce throughout the year for you.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Krista with the Bruce County Public Library, and we're at the Bruce Botanical Food Gardens in Ripley, Ontario with April Fox, the coordinator here, manager, and she's been with the gardens for 5 years. This is her first year as the manager, and today she's going to talk about seed collecting. And she's been experimenting some of that on her own at home. Do you want to tell a little bit about that?
Sure. So my first year experimenting with seed saving, I let my kohlrabi and Brussels sprouts go to seed. They are biennials, so they seed in the second year. And I thought I could just simply save those seeds and plant them, and they'd just be Brussels sprouts and kohlrabi. Well, boy, was I wrong. So I got something that looked like a Brussels sprout, but had little kohlrabis growing off of it. And it was the most amazing experience of cross-pollination, and so it just brought more interest for me in seed saving and understanding cross-pollination. So we're here with green beans, and these are a very easy seed to start, especially if you're a beginner, for seed saving. So with green beans, they usually are self-pollinating, but as you know, when the bees are around flying, they can cross-pollinate. You can get some weird bean seeds from there. Ideally, when you're saving beans, you want to ensure that they dry on the stalk. I love to call it the lazy gardener technique. And so when they dry on the stalk, they're definitely mature. At this point, you can open up and simply collect the seeds that you need. If you don't have time, or if you're pulling your garden early, what you want to look for is the green ones that are quite nubby, as you see there. And what you want to do is take these and hang them to dry. So we have drying racks that we use to put them on, and that will help, but they may not be as mature. So if you can, you want them to dry on the stalk. And then when I collect these seeds, even though they have dried on the stalk, I still like to dry them out before storing them. So I just want to touch base on the parsley here. So I like to mention about biennials. So these are your carrots, your parsley, celery, and what biennial means is that they seed in the second year. So these items you need to leave in the ground. They'll overwinter, and then they'll produce a flower come the summer and produce seeds. So these are great for collecting. They do cross-pollinate as well, so you want to make sure that you only have one variety coming to flower at the time. And the seeds are very easy to collect. Again, you want to make sure that the seeds dry mostly on the stalk. And simply with the parsley seeds, you just rub it back and forth and they come right off. The same works for celery as well. Anything that's still kind of green, just leave it a little bit longer before you harvest them. You just want to make sure that they're fully mature. And these you can plant in the spring and then just keep them so that they overwinter. All right, so I just wanted to mention about a technique called bagging. So with certain plants, they can cross-pollinate, and if you want to keep a true seed, which is a seed that is not crossed with anything else, you want to just use a little mesh baggie to go over the flowers before they open and just simply tighten them up. Once you've got that baggie on, the flowers will self-pollinate and start to produce tomatoes. When they start to actually produce the tomatoes, because the flowers are done, at that point you can remove the baggie off. And then what I like to do is just simply put the baggie around around it to mark that these are for true seed saving only. With tomatoes, for seed saving, you always want to ensure that they go to full maturity. And that's it. And here's an example of one that we did earlier in the summer. So this one is a potato leaf tomato, which means that it very easily cross-pollinates. So we ensured that we bagged these tomatoes when they were flowering, and then we just marked it with our little baggie left over, and when these come to full maturity, that's when we'll be saving the seeds and we'll have a true seed. So since we're in the tomato patch, I just wanted to show you how to collect tomato seeds. So here is where you want to go with the tomatoes that are really ripe and red, and you simply just collect them in a bucket. And I'll be showing you how to process tomato seeds. They do require fermentation to remove a coating that is around the seed. So I'll be showing you that next. Okay, so I wanted to stop off here and show you lettuce seeds. So lettuce will flower in their first year, and with cross-pollination they do happen, so you want to keep at least 25 feet from another lettuce variety. The seeds are extremely easy to save. What you want to do is let them flower first off, then come to these white little fluffy flowers, and then as you see they kind of die down a little bit more, and that means they're really nice and dry, and you can simply pick them off and just push them between your fingers and it separates the seeds. You can get quite a bit from just one plant, so if you let all of your lettuce seeds go to flower, you will have a lot of seeds to share with all your neighbors. So I brought you here to the cleaning station, so we are going to process our tomatoes that we've collected. Now you can do this also with cucumber seeds because they do have a shell or a coating on those seeds, and if you were to just dry them and plant them, they would not germinate. So you have to ferment them first. So this is the fun part. You get your hands nice and dirty, and you just take your tomatoes and squish them back and forth for the juice and seeds to pop out. Once you've got all of your seeds in there that you want to collect, you simply add your water, enough to kind of cover it, and you're going to leave it for 3 to 5 days to ferment. So I have this wonderful mess that we call fermentation, and it has been fermenting for I think about 5 days now. And as you can see, it's got this moldy kind of mess on the top. Those are just the beginnings of what we would normally call a mother, which you would use in cases where you were making vinegar. But for us, we're not going to keep this. So what you do is you want to clean this now. So we add a little bit of water. We let all the seeds that are viable sink to the bottom, and we just start pouring off the water. If there's any seeds that are floating in the top, don't worry. Those are not viable seeds, so if you're pouring them off, don't be alarmed. Now we just keep this process until the water is nice and clean. As you can see, we're getting most of the bigger chunks that were along with the tomato, so the pulp and sometimes skin. And at the end, you're left over with your seeds. And in this case, you'll just dump these seeds out on paper towel and let them dry for a couple of days until they're nice and crunchy. And then you can just break them up and put them in your container.
I'd like to thank April and the Bruce Botanical Food Gardens for showing us how to save our seeds today. That's great. If you're inspired to save your own seeds, maybe you'll consider any extras to donate to the Bruce County Public Library and our new seed library in 2023.